All right, so today we're going to talk about Higgins and the real estate agent part of Higgins. And the reason why you see all these little boxes in here is really where it makes Higgins very unique. Rather than having one AI working across the board to do multiple different things in life or across work, we have multiple different AIs working together as teams. So some areas they say, oh, I've got one AI working here, another AI working in writing, another AI in parenting. Well, Higgins actually has teams of AIs working together because in our philosophy, nothing ever really gets done on their own with one person. It needs a team. And the same similarly with an AI, you need a team of specialized AI working together, each of them on their own different areas in order to get the right kind of result that you need. And so that's absolutely the same thing for the Higgins real estate tool. What you can see here is a very powerful tool for real estate agents. Now, when you click on it, you've got a lot of different, marketing insights, neighborhood reviews, lease term analyzer, property description, property analysis, stage a home, general real estate um, agent form for Texas, but you could do this for any different state that you want. So you've got a lot of different opportunities here to work from different areas with this real estate agent tool. Very, very powerful tool. It's got a lot going for it. And of course, you can ask a lot of different things. We have real estate agents actually coding on Higgins. We've got real estate agents doing a lot of work on setting up their marketing materials, their MLS descriptions, staging a home MLS descriptions, things like that. Like there's a sort of so many different things that real estate agents need to do, and the admin burden on real estate agents being alone, having to deal with, and in a lot of cases, on this, even if they do belong to a bigger firm, they still have to do a lot of things on their own. They still have to invest a lot of time on their own. So having AI is critical, especially the AI that knows real estate, that understands it. And there's a team of AIs working together in Higgins real estate to give you, all of the different real estate functions that you need going forward. And these are the top AIs that are going in here. So let's look at things like market insight. So let's click on market insight. Now you can add something to the statement. That's why you can click on it here. You can add perform market analysis on whatever, something like that. You can add something or you can just click the button. Now these are set up so that it's if you've never used AI before or you just want to quickly get something very quick, you can go ahead and do that. Okay. So here you've got provide a property address. So we're going to just use Higgins uh, headquarters, Pacific Avenue, Dallas, Texas, 75226. Boom. Okay. And now it's looking at great Higgins. I'll run your market analysis for this piece. Analyze the specific building, analyze the neighborhood around Deep Ellum, so it knows already it's in Deep Ellum. Analyze the both building and neighborhood. Ask something else. So there's so many things that you could actually do with it. So Higgins is asking you these things. This is very important. So you want to analyze the neighborhood market around Deep Ellum. So boom. So let's say I want to do market analysis around the neighborhood around Deep Ellum. Okay. So there's several different AIs. You notice there's a Higgins home staging. There's a Higgins thinking. There's a Higgins analyzer. There's so many different Higgins that are in the background working together. So many different AIs working together. So now it gives you, a market summary, what the market insights table looks like, what are the median, the condos prices, things like that. So you can start recommending to your customers, that are in this area, what are some of the different prices that they should be looking for within this thing, and also like what are the year-to-year price changing. This is very cool, okay, and showing you that there's a trend that is actually cooling from prior years, so that this is reaching a maximum level, right? I didn't know that Deep Ellum was actually 515,000 medium home price. That's actually pretty decent. I thought it was much more expensive than that. That's actually a pretty good area. I didn't know. I really like that area. I don't live in that area, but that being said, that's pretty cool information to know. Days on the market, 36 months. That's pretty, 36 days, sorry. That's pretty good. That means that, about a month, over just a little bit over a month. Multifamily supply is moderating rent growth. see some of the things driving the market, transitioning from entertainment heavy vibe to move, live, work, life balance. Absolutely. I can tell you right now that is absolutely happening there. It was really about all about entertainment and partying and all that stuff in Deep Ellum. And now it's more about the life work balanced area. So definitely quite on point here with what Higgins is pulling out and then well positioned for long-term appreciation due to location, ongoing redevelopment. So as they're bringing the residents back in to the area value is going up, and that's what Higgins is saying here. And you guys know as real estate agents a lot better than I do, what Higgins is talking about. So then they're giving you a property value for 75226. Obviously, that's a building. That's a big building. So investment analysis for rentals, commercial value snapshot, a full MLS neighborhood ready report. That's kind of cool. So let's take it one step further. Let's get a full neighborhood MLS ready report. And so this way now you can actually add that to your listing that you've got. So if you've got a seller that you're in charge of and you want to add a listing, you want to create a neighborhood report, boom, look at this. Market at a glance, market trends. You literally can just take this, download this into a document and pick it up and boom, you've got it right there, right? Your neighborhood report, neighborhood overview, market at a glance, housing stock breakdown, all of that stuff. And you could take this and you can upload it to MLS. It's totally MLS ready, right? Why? Because Higgins has already been trained on that. So again, prepared by Higgins, this will be prepared by you. You can have your signature in here. There's a lot of things you can do here when Higgins knows you and knows what you're looking for. So very cool stuff. Surprised. I didn't know that Higgins would do that. MLS report. You could do you could generate a branded PDF layout for the report, added property specific comps to the report, generate a companion market forecast, okay, matching listing presentation. So there's so much you can do with Higgins. It's just so powerful, and it just keeps suggesting and suggesting and suggesting things for you, which is very cool. So it says, what kind of forecast would you like? A residential only forecast? Let me just close this here so you can read this. What kind of forecast? Residential only, commercial only, full hybrid market, one. So you can just click one of these. It even gives you the buttons to click. Let's do a full hybrid one, whatever. Just want to see what we're going on here with, right? Again, it all depends on the property that you're trying to list here and the property you're trying to work with. And then you can get the full report. And there you go, Deep Ellum, hybrid market, residential and commercial, executive summary. It gives you all the overall features. Let me expand this so you can see all of this. Residential market forecast, home values, right? 1 to 2%, 3% growth. So you've seen right around that 2% that we're talking about. The condo and loft, that's actually getting a little bit more, right? So if you're in a condo and loft environment, you wanna push your customers towards that because they're going to be getting a lot more appreciation out of that. The rental market is 0% to 3% growth. So again, very very flexible in the market, depending probably where you are in Deep Ellum. Right? If you're anywhere near the clubs, I'm sure the rental is pretty flat. But anywhere a little further, more residential, probably the rental is getting up a bit more higher. If you ever gone to Deep Ellum and partied, you know what I was talking about. It's pretty exciting out there, but definitely not a very relaxing and residential environment in the heart of Deep Ellum. Days on market. So again, around that market, that time that Higgins was saying, well staged, well priced loft seem to move more quickly. So again, staging becomes something you want to recommend your clients with in that area. That seems to be doing very well. Not necessarily maybe increasing the prices, but definitely moving more quickly. Right. Again, that's where, you get that little bit of a key aspect, and you can also dig in. You can ask Higgins. Let's dig in. Let's understand why. Are they moving more quickly because of staging? Is it moving more quickly because of pricing? All of that stuff. You can actually get in there and get some real data out of this. Office market forecast stabilization by late. So you can keep reading this, look at the mixed use development, redevelopment, The key market drivers, population trends. So young professionals are coming in. We talked about earlier how Higgins already said it's moving to more residential life balance, work-life balance environment, not just partying and then, hey, you live somewhere else. You're actually living there and you're partying, but not too hard, right? So that work-life balance is happening in that area. The urban walkability makes it a premium, huge thing. It is very walkable. I walk outside my office, literally hundreds of restaurants there. Like, unbelievable amount of stuff I can do there. Like literally there's anything I can do there. So, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger within like a, 15, 20-minute walk I could be downtown really, you know. Like a lot of different things you can do there. The medical district is very nice. It's ongoing. There's a downtown tech startup ecosystem. Absolutely. We're part of it. So I can tell you right now, it's there. Creative entertainment sector stability. So these are things that are very important. The DART rail access continues to support demand, planned transit. So again, it's very close to a lot of different hubs. You can get to work pretty quickly, either by car or by rail. There's a lot of different things in buses as well. So there's a lot of different opportunities there. Um, there is planned transit enhancements to increase long-term value. So you can tell right away, you can read between the lines here that transit is not necessarily going to be your preferred way. It's going to be obviously taking a car, which is pretty much most of Dallas and most of Texas, to be honest. But that being said, at least there's enhancements coming down the way. The culture identity is amazing. It's absolutely beautiful for creatives, for rentals. Risk and headwinds. There's national interest rate fluctuations, high rental supply, slowing absorption. So there's a lot of supply for rentals, especially there. People go and buy a condo, then they want to rent it out. So there's a lot of supply there. I didn't know that there was a lot of supply there. Shifts in commercial working patterns, hybrid workplaces are also changing that piece. So again, we need to look into that area, and that's more for the commercial side versus the residential side. Obviously, it helps the residential that hybrid workplaces are happening, but it doesn't help necessarily commercial. But definitely from a commercial side, you have to look into things like that. Investor outlook, if you want to invest into the region, 24-month forecast summary of home prices, condo left prices, rental growth, office leasing, retail. Look at this. This is mind-boggling. This is mind-boggling what you get. I haven't even gone through like we were just on one button and we clicked two things. That's all we did. We clicked one button and two other things and put an address in, and then we clicked two buttons. That's it. And we're here. Look at this. Just the amount of information. Absolutely unbelievable. Now you can go back and ask it to revise and revise, and you get different versions coming out. So like, for instance, I can say, okay, add more residential analysis. Okay. So I'm going to add more residential analysis to this, right? And so Higgins is going to go back and is going to say, okay, well, I'm going to take this hybrid one. I know you wanted hybrid, but I'm going to add more residential pieces to it. Okay. And Higgins won't just add a new document. What Higgins will do is create version two. So you see at the bottom here, version two. So it'll take the same work you've done. You like it, right? That's what you like. And it'll now add residential analysis. So it'll revise the existing forecast document by adding a deeper and more data-rich residential section. Okay, so now you'll go in here and you see contact, and now you've got a residential, expanded residential analysis. Boom. Okay, that's the power of Higgins. That's the power of what you can do here. You could just keep going and going, and it adds visual chart to pack in the forecast, create a branded PDF. So if you want to go out there and publish it right away, boom, you got a branded PDF based on your logos, what you have already uploaded and personalized in Higgins, which we teach you how to use. Added investor pro forma models and produce matching listing presentations. So there's a lot of things you can do here. We are not going to go into this because, quite frankly, we could spend hours and hours just on this one area, just on this one little teensy beansy little area of Higgins, real estate, right? And not even all of Higgins. We're just talking real estate alone, period. That's it. You can spend literally hours and hours focusing on this and getting it to a next level piece. But we've got other things, fish we want to fry. I want to show you a few other a few other different things we can do with the real estate agent tool. Okay, so one thing we didn't look into was neighborhood review. We've done that a little bit. Lease term analyzer, we can go into that a little bit later. Property description is pretty cool. Let's look at staging a home. Okay. Staging a home is kind of cool. It's a lot of things that real estate agents do. They want to stage a home. We know that in Deep Ellum, as per the Higgins report, you want to be able to stage a home here. So let me take a home and let me upload a home photo. Okay. So I'm going to upload a photo of a house. So let me see. Let's see here. What do we got? Okay, this is a room. Okay. So I want it to be a modern living room. Okay. So Higgins is asking here. Higgins is asking, give me the photo, the room type. And so I said a living room. What do you want? Modern, things like that. Okay. And then emphasize custom required. Keep existing flooring. Uh, keep room structure the same. So we're not doing any renovations in the room. We're not changing anything in the room. We're just adding, we're staging it. We're just adding furniture to it. So Higgins goes in, great. I'll get all of this. So, and then Higgins asks, now Higgins is asking a little bit more questions. So Higgins is saying here, what modern style direction would you like? Because modern can mean several things. So choose one of the staging that aligns perfectly. Minimal modern, cleaning lines, light colors, fewer pieces, warmer modern, soft neutrals, wood tones, cozy texture, modern luxury, bold accents, metallic touches, statement furniture, a Scandinavian model like bright, airy, natural woods. Minimalist in terms of comfort, not very much in terms of comfort. Mid-century modern, walnut woods, iconic shapes, vibrant accents. I don't know any of this stuff, okay? But I'm learning as we go. You probably know way more than me on this, but definitely I didn't know modern had that many contexts, or else I would have stipulated it. And then custom modern, give me your preferences. So again, let's go with I like the minimal modern. And you can, of course, just copy and paste it. I think it actually, Higgins will give you, oh, minimal modern, boom. You got a button here I could use right away for that one. Okay. And then, okay. So Higgins is now asking for the room photo. Upload the room photo. Okay. And now sometimes it happens where you have to upload the things again. Shouldn't happen very often, but and now Higgins is going to take that room. So we've got the minimal modern furniture plan, a full stage layout, a clean, easy review session. So Higgins is going to take that room and now they're going to do a full description, right? Stage summary is going to give you a table of what needs to go in there, an MLS listing description. So very cool. So take a look at this. So let's go in here. So we have a stage room analysis. Higgins, for a minimal modern living room, overall design intent to create a clean, refined, airy, modern aesthetic that highlights the room's expansive windows, high ceilings, warm wood flooring, and centered fireplace, all without visual clutter. So the purpose of the room layout, virtual staging, you want to be centered on the fireplace. Walls and surfaces, keep the walls completely clean. One large overall abstract, art. So a neutral palette with a soft geometric lines, and then a fireplace area. So keep mantle surface nearly there. One sculptural mantle vase, low rectangular tray, things like that. So as you go into the staging summary table, you've got living room, modern, and it tells you about the sofa, what type of sofa would go great there, the armchairs, the coffee table, the rug, the lighting, the wall fixtures. So it gives it to you in a table. Okay. We programmed Higgins to do that because we want Higgins to not just give you, like you could be busy. Want you to give you a list, which you can take this list and now you can just download this list into CSV and you can take it and you can actually go and shop for it, right? You can also take this and you can export this into Word, right? And then you can go and grab this entire piece for you, and you can take a look at everything that you need to do there. You just go basically here, and then you grab the latest one. I believe that's here, and boom, this is your minimally staged room with your table and all that's there. You could also grab the table. Table itself is exportable. So it's a CSV file. You can open it up into any of your documents and you can play around with it. So there's a lot of different things you could do with this. Again, there's just a lot that can be done. The MLS description is also very, very important. And really providing you something that's ready, good to go. You just copy, paste it, or have Higgins modify it a little bit, or you modify it a little bit, whatever works best for you. So a lot that you could do with this real estate feature. All right, so now let's go back and do the final thing. I want to generate a real estate form. Okay, so there's a lot of things we can do here. We're not going to do all of them, but we'll look at doing one, and we're doing one specifically for Texas. Okay, so this is just an example. You could do it for any state that you want with the Higgins lease. So basically, you can now create a rental lease agreement. You can create a commercial lease agreement, a purchase contract, a seller's disclosure notice, a lead-based paint disclosure, a lead-based paint disclosure, if you have lead-based paint disclosure, agency disclosure form, listing agreement, addendums like HOA, financing, inspection, a custom form of your choice. So there's so many different things you could do. So let's say I want a rental lease agreement. Boom. Right? I know that there's a lot of leasing that's happening in the area in Deep Ellum. So boom, I'm going to get a lease agreement. It says, okay, fine. I want certain details. I want the property address, the list starting rate, the lease end rate, the monthly rent amount, the secure deposit amount, or whatever. So say just randomly. Deep Ellum. Dallas, Texas, 75226. Just randomly create one. Let's see what Higgins does. Does Higgins do this or not? I have no idea. I never really know what Higgins can or cannot do. Okay, so Higgins still asking a few more questions. So is it do you want the lease to be fixed term, month to month? So let's say a 12-month lease, boom, just click that. And then from there, we'll see if that's enough. How many tenants, 1 or 3 plus tenants, market rate rent. I'll do this. And then Higgins will then ask me about the tenants, the number of tenants that we can have in the market. Probably most likely, there we go. 1 or 2 tenants, 3 plus tenants. Surprise me. I like that. That's very cool. I didn't expect that one. What would you prefer? A random residential? Yes, just pick a random address. Again, Higgins is going to ask you a lot more questions, but when Higgins knows you, knows your clients, and knows what you're doing, if you want a one that's specific to your firm, we actually upload into Higgins all of your client lists. So it actually knows which client that you're asking for immediately. In fact, lists out the different clients. You can click one for them for that particular property, and you can say, I want a rental agreement for that property. It's so cool when Higgins knows exactly your business and what you're doing. And yes, you can get that done for your business. Here goes your rental lease agreement. Talks about the parties. Okay, it used Deep Ellum. It used the actual property there, and then it goes through signatures. And now you can expand this. You can get it bigger. You can say, I want something more relevant. Now it's grabbing the Texas database residential information and what they're looking for in their lease, and then you can continue to keep updating this and changing it to whatever you want. So a lot of power here of what you could do. You could do a pen addendum, HVAC, filter, all of this. So you can literally take this, download this again, and boom, you've got this in your pocketbook. Okay. You can then ask, as we did before, you can go and say, please increase the rent by 30%. Okay, let's get some real rental income generated here. And you can do things like that. Higgins will go back. It'll recalculate. Please confirm. Yes, update the rent to 3,185. Whoa, that's a lot. Okay, maybe not. But and it says or to apply the lease around $50 or cancel, and boom. Now you notice again, as we mentioned before, Higgins creates the version 2. So you saw version 1, right, with the regular piece, and you have version 2. And you can download whichever version you want, the version 1 or the version 2. Okay, so definitely a lot you can do here with this rental lease agreement. You've got the property, the rent, the security, the pets, the keys, the smoking, the holding over, the early termination, and then all of the addendums as well that you can get in here. These are the tenants. These are just fictional names that Higgins put in. But again, there's so much you could do here. You can add digital signature fields. Wow, I didn't even know that. You could generate a complete lease packet, all the documents combined. Oh, I like this. Let's just do this. I want to actually see this myself and see how this works. Would you like the packet formatted? Option A, continuous document section with clear dividers, each document separated with letters, clear dividers, or a full professional leasing packet. I want option C, full professional. Let's see this. Let's get this thing on overdrive. Come on, Higgins. Let's do this. All right, which branding style you want? Whoa, look at this, full corporate. Oh, let's do full corporate. I like corporate, right? Let's do this. Full corporate branding. All right, we're getting in there. Option A, full company profile, long format, minimal per company, branding, short professional. So again, full company profile. Looking just to imagine how simpler your life would be, patented technology, short professional company profile. Again, this is an AI company selling real estate. We'll see how this goes. I have no idea how this is going to go. Short professional company. Yeah, maybe short, just short. We don't need to go into the whole AI thing. We're an AI company. We don't sell property, but we're just, let's go along with it here. Let's see who choose option A, complete packet in a single artifact. Yeah, single artifact. Let's do this. Let's see the full picture. I want it all together. Can Higgins do this or not? What is going to happen here? I have no idea. Just option 1. Let's do clean and modern. That's it. So Higgins is asking a lot of questions here. There's way too many questions as far as I'm concerned. But hey, let's see what happens. Selected. Da, 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 da. Please stand by. Generating now. And there we go. So Higgins starts to generate this, prepared by Higgins AI Incorporated, table of contents. So let's get this bigger so you can see it. So about Higgins AI, rental lease agreement, addendums, the signature pages, the final notes and footer. And so you can take all of this and you can download it. It's as simple as that. So the rental, the addendums, all that information, and the final notes. So again, it's definitely something that needs to be worked on. I can see that it's a bit short in what it's doing here versus the original clauses, but I think it's got a full series of documents that it'll put out. So again, the full lease agreement packet is pretty awesome. There's a lot more that you can add to it. You can add digital fields, generate another lease, email the packet to a tenant, generate the PDF format. There's just so much you could do to make this packet bigger and better and better. So going back here, it created a clean, modern cover page, table of contents, short professional, company profile, full all the addendums, the moving conditions, the parking pets, the lead paint compliance, the signature pages, all of that. And if you want something removed from it, boom, you just say remove the lead-based paint compliance. So you can say remove lead-based paste compliance, and now Higgins will remove it. But we'll, as we mentioned before, we'll create a version 2, right? We'll not keep a version 1, so that way you can have version 1 to go back to if you say, hey, you know what, I do want to keep this one. So you'll see there's a version 2 here, and then there's a version 1 to the document. So Higgins is deciding to do version 1 versus version 2. It's up to you. And you can decide, you could do a footer on every page. You could do, footer on the cover. There's so much you could do. Generate PDF version, digital signature fields, email it to a tenant, things like that. Okay. So a lot you could do with Higgins, a lot of power in this, in the real estate agent tool. You can always go back to these threads. You can go back and rename these threads. So here, for instance, this is the Texas tenant packet. So I can rename it, called a Texas lease packet, right? Now you're saving it in Higgins. And so now you're saving it. So every time you go back to it, you've got the Texas lease packet, right? This one here, I believe, was the staging. So minimal staging. So I'll call it minimal staging, bedroom staging, or living room staging. Boom. Save that. And I believe this one here was all about the residential analysis. So let's rename that to residential analysis. Okay. And boom, now you've got something you can go back to. We highly recommend that whenever you use Higgins, you go back to the previous threads that you're working on. So if I want to do more residential analysis, I'll click on that one and I'll do a different address. If you want to do minimal living room staging, or if you want to do bedroom staging or something else, go back in here. If you want to do another lease packet, whether it's for Texas or something else, go back in here. So we highly recommend you keep the conversations going. And the reason is that it's the same reason why when we talk to someone, usually our first statement is, let's say we're meeting someone at work for coffee or whatever. Oh, do you remember that last event I went to? Or do you remember the last time we talked about, this thing that happened? You're bringing their mind to the actual context of the conversation and the thread that happened before. And so then you can go back and just keep adding. So then people, oh yeah, I remember you told me about that. How did the concert go? Or how did that event happen, or whatever? Because you remind them back to the thread that you had, right? You don't just blurt out what just happened if you already had a conversation about it, right? That's typical way that we converse together, and we do the same thing with AI, with Higgins, right? Go back there, go back to the residential analysis. Higgins knows exactly. Hey, you recall the last time I did residential analysis on Higgins headquarters? Well, I want something else now. I want a different area. Hey, do you recall the last time we did some staging on the living room? I want a different room right now, right? Do you recall the last time we did a lease packet? I want a different packet right now. So things like that. So going back here, there's so much more to unpack here. I'm going to go through, things like property description, property analysis, we haven't gone through yet. Lease term analyzer, we haven't gone through yet. Market insights in more detail from a marketing perspective, we haven't gone into yet. So there's so much we can still do here that we haven't really gone into yet. But this is enough for now. Hope you enjoy this. In this talk, and I look forward to sharing more and more and more about Higgins as we move forward. Thank you very much and have a great day. Cheers.